Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back another video from Mother's Basement. So I'm playing catch up because I have obviously been away for a little bit, acquiring this house that I have bought. I'm going to keep dropping that every now and then. So Mother's Basement, I know he's just done the hottest anime of summer, but before we check that out, we got to check out what trash I missed in spring, and then I need to check out why summer 2025 is such a crazy situation in anime. Yeah, and then we check out what to check out. Yeah. But first, what trash did we miss out on in spring?
Haro-san, まだ死んでないよ. Chainsaw を片付けなさい. Hey!
Hello?
Buddy!
Hi.
Good to see you blinking and breathing again.
Ah, it's as if he knew I was away.
Not that you wouldn't be.
Oh, okay.
We just,
That's hilarious.
this season's menu had a bit of a mix-up. Spring just came packing way too much great trash, so our chefs needed a little extra time to,
Just sort it
really
out.
cook. And
Okay.
then we got that last-minute shipment of Netflix Kakegurui
Oh, God.
in, and
Let that franchise die.
between all that, we kind of forgot to tell Taro to hold off on your involuntary valet service, so long story short, you've been locked in our freezer since mid-May. Don't worry, though. We looked you
That's
over,
where I've been.
taking care of your payment plan, and aside from some minor cabbage to the lozenge center of your Brian, you've got a clean bill of health in all your remaining organs. But enough questions.
It's nice to know.
I insist. We have kept you waiting long enough for the hottest
Whoa.
trash of spring 2025, and I absolutely refuse to make you wait 1 second longer. We've got two lovely trash appetizer options to start you off this evening.
Okay.
Rock is a lady's modesty, and from Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman.
Ooh, I heard good things about both of these things, but we gotta remember trashy doesn't always mean bad.
Which both arrive at similarly mild trash flavors using the exact opposite recipes. On paper, or Wikipedia synopsis, I guess, Old Country Bumpkin sounds like a real toasty dumpster fire. A 40-year-old virgin teacher moves to the big city to discover that all his most attractive students grew up to become the kingdom's mightiest and scantily claddest heroines.
Yeah, this sounded really good. Oh my goodness. Wow. What's the problem?
Also, his foster daughter is one of them. You tell me that's not netchy. It's not netchy. Mostly.
Okay.
Mostly, it's a deeply nerdy, highly technical exploration of traditional sword fighting techniques
Cool.
set in a reasonably complex, low fantasy world full of extremely likable characters. Especially the main one, who is simply too stand-up of a guy to even think about how do Lucia Citrus's pants even work? What is holding all that stuff where it is? I need to know. Conversely, you probably wouldn't expect to see a girls' band anime get very trashy at all, even when it's clearly riffing on classic Yuri tropes. But then again, until 6 seconds from now, it never even crossed your mind just how many things in rock music could be represented metaphorically by rough lesbian bondage play.
Oh my Jesus. Whoa. Alright. Okay. Alright.
Like, damn, she is beating those drums like a naughty little girl who needs to be punished.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna shred so hard she can't walk tomorrow, etc.
Jesus. Oh my
Picking
god.
a trash appetizer will mostly come down to taste, of course, though if you'd like a suggestion, I do think the Rock Ladies have a slight edge over Old Country Buffet,
Okay.
thanks to the more consistently impressive nature of their animation, but both of them absolutely pop off when the chips are down, and they make use of some seriously impressive 3D CG.
Does look good.
Really
Does look good.
capturing the nuances of both real-life swordplay and real-life guitar,
Yo.
if that's something that you care about. So either way, you can't go wrong, and you could just get both. I give Sword Bumpkin 4 novelty trash baskets of garlic bread, and
Oof.
Lady Rock gets 5 full of buttery croissants. Speaking of cute girls doing things they feel like they shouldn't, even though if you think about it, they'd have no reason not to in a big fancy building. Rick
Oh, is this the... Okay, let us play, let us
Eiji
play.
Miyajima, the fiend responsible for Rent-A-Girlfriend, is
Yep, this is what I thought it was.
at large once again with a new anime this season, The Shionji Family Children, which follows 5 beautiful sisters and 1 hunky brother whose lives are shaken up when their gazillionaire father tells them they were all adopted and therefore can f*** each other.
I love it, so dumb. Only Japan can come out with these things. Oh my goodness.
They feel like it. Also, they have another brother, but he's already got a girlfriend, and let's be real, they don't even pretend he's a main character in the OP. So anyway, the only brother who actually matters has a crush on this girl at school, but then she ends up dating someone else, so suddenly he's free, and his sister decides to move in real fast and real naked, thus prompting the rest of his sisters to be like, oh, you know...
Oh, I didn't realize that's an option. Let's try that. Yeah, okay, that sounds good. Oh my god.
Want on that, and then turns into a harem thing. And as harem things go, it's pretty typical. Basically does nothing to reinvent the wheel, which by default makes it infinitely better than Rent-A-Guff. You got the tsundere, you got the sporty, upbeat one, you got the sultry older sister character, you got the shy little sister character who's not that shy when it really comes down to it. You got the desaturated quintessential quintuplets flash forward scene that shows him and whichever sister he chose with a kid, but she cut her hair real boring so you can't tell.
Oh, so he does end up with one of them. Oh my god. Oh, blah, 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 blah.
Which one it is. This show dutifully ticks off every box on the harem anime checklist one by one, and the fact that their family does not meaningfully change the way that it ticks them at all, especially not for the obligatory Onesan and Imoto archetypes. The only place where it really makes any kind of difference is with the wild card harem character, who here is a low emotion genius type girl that definitely does not want to f her brother and can prove it with science, which she repeatedly does by mounting him and making him play Twister with her and so on, and very scientifically notes that nobody got horny while they were doing that, so they still have a very normal sibling relationship. So normal, in fact, that maybe we should just run another test, you know, just to see how normal it is.
なんだ何が起きてんだこれ急に馬乗りで何を
よかった大きな異常はないようです
はなんだよ異常って
Other than that, though,
This is weird. It's weird. I'm not watching this one, no.
kind of just feels like the whole sibling thing is simply the most expedient way to make a love Hina happen without having to explain how all these hot people ended up living in a big fancy house together. You know, the kind of thing you'd make if you identified a clear market overlap between incest anime enjoyers and harem anime enjoyers, but also you're a goddamn coward. If you're gonna go Oreimo, go full Oreimo. Don't be a little fucking bitch with this uh-oh stepbro crap, Reiji. Let your characters violate the natural order a little.
No.
The only thing stopping them Shionji kids ain't right from being utterly bog standard is its protagonist, Arata, who, unlike your typical Keitaro, or Haruhi forbid, Kazuya, is actually a cool, likable, and attractive guy.
Nah, I don't believe you. There's no way. There's no way.
At least, you know, insofar as a writer who has definitely never read a single chapter of shoujo manga in his life is capable of conceiving what women find attractive.
あらそうかな高学歴高収入高身長の 3K イケメンが夜景の見える最上階レストランで君しか見えないって指輪を少女漫画の見過ぎでは
So, he's a gym rat, even more so than the family tennis prodigy. He's tall and jacked and good at many sports, but also at school, but also not that good at school, like...
What I find weird, I don't know, it just popped into my head. Do these sisters not find him attractive in the first place? Did they not grow up having these weird feelings and thinking, ooh, this is really odd, and then it's like, it's okay? Did they just all of a sudden, because the options put on the table, go, oh, yeah, maybe we could consider that. Yeah, I never really thought about it. And then they started, like, Weird.
where he'd be a nerd. He's just, he's like naturally smart, but he doesn't try that hard because he's cool. Also, he's supportive and sensible and good at hiding all the horny thoughts that he has about literally every woman around him all the time from those women. And let's not forget, he's very, very rich. Plus, he has a talent for dramatically blocking things that are about to hit a girl in the face.
Nice. Spider-Man? We got a Spider-Man this? Oh, okay, never mind.
I mean,
I thought he was going to get the tray and catch everything all cool and nonchalant. I mean, it's nice he got in the way, though, but...
he's no Rentaro. He's not even a Futaro. He's basically a walking list of things guys who can't get laid think will get them laid, but that still beats a Keitaro any day of the week. I feel like a lot of the positive buzz around this show is just coming from people, like, marveling at the fact that it's competent at all. I mean, wow. After committing all that Rent-A-Girlfriend, it turns out Reiji Miyajima was capable of pumping out perfectly acceptable hack harem slop all along?
My God.
What a glow up! Truly, he is an artist with hidden depths. And hey, I get it. When you're clawing your way out of the depths of hell, a hole in the ground starts looking an awful lot like heaven. A hole is still a hole, though, and this is still a soulless product. A less nasty one than Rent-A-Girlfriend, to be sure.
Which is nice,
But if that was 3 biohazard disposal units full of moldy lunchlys, Shionji Fam is just a plain old Mr. Beast burger dumpster. Which, again, is undeniably a huge improvement. So,
Which is so funny, because Lunchley and Mr. Beast did the whole collaboration thing at one point as well, didn't they?
good job, Mr. Miyajima. You have officially graduated to hack. He's not the only one making by-the-numbers bread and butter shonen rom-com trash this season, though. Nana Nanana's Can a Boy-Girl Friendship Survive is bringing back love triangles.
You
in a
just know this is trash.
big-ish way that
Oh wait, this is the one that Giguk did a video on, isn't it? Oh, alright, intrigued.
had my fellow chef Garnt absolutely
There we go.
seething after a 3-episode test.
God, I hate her. Look at that smug fucking face.
You fucking bitch.
And I don't blame him. Himari is a fucking train wreck. But I also don't entirely agree with him, because she is exactly the kind of transportation disaster that I would happily watch several hour-long YouTube documentaries about. So here's the sitch. Yu Natsume is a typical teenage Japanese boy with a very atypical hobby, making accessories. You know, necklaces, rings, hair clips, things of that nature.
Nice little hobby to have as well.
Made with preserved flowers, quick curing resin, and a whole lot of love. His
Aw.
classmates see this as weird and girly, and
You would at that age, I suppose.
so he does not have any friends until one day, pretty and popular Himari decides she likes his work enough to post it on her semi-successful Instagram page and help him open an online store, and vow that she will stand by his side as his personal model and comrade in shared dreams to help him sell those accessories until the day she dies.
Which is a really nice thing to do.
Also, maybe if they're still single by 30, they should, think about getting married. But, for now, they are just friends.
Just friends.
Just
Just
regular
friends.
old
Nothing else.
buddies who spend every single day together like best buds should, and like all platonic pals do. Of course, they have their own inside jokes going, like, hey, what if we banged?
Yep. That's...
Hee, just kidding. And, sometimes they'll pull each other down to the science room tables and
Jesus Christ, yeah, just be like, but we're just friends.
ask each other to, practice making out a little. But, just in case when they get, another person that they're going to date, because they're going to date other people eventually, right? Obviously they're going to date other people. They just don't want to fuck up kissing them. So they should kiss each other now, just a little bit, just to practice, like any true bro would do for their...
Bro?
Someone who thinks Gojo is straight hacked my script. Anyway, when her female acquaintance, Rion, turns out to be the long-lost first crush who ignited Yu's love for floral passion in the botanical garden all those years ago, Himari suddenly realizes there might be more to her feelings than an entirely normal impulse to kiss the homies goodnight.
You think?
And so she starts crashing out, just a little, and a lot, and she kind of never stops.
ごめん、クールダウン無理っぽい。
Before long, she's giving him the silent treatment and threatening to join up with an influencer agency in Tokyo and move out there just to make him chase her, which he
But yeah, I'm remembering Kinghook's video. This is so frustrating. So doesn't he like give her money or something to help support that? And she's lied the whole time, and she's not even going.
actually agrees to do because he is that much of a simp. And having realized that he's that much of a simp, he tells Rion, who just confessed to him, that he can't date her because he's not interested. He's a total simp for his best friend. And she is completely okay with that and says, hey, let's still be friends. And if you change your mind, I will always be down. Also, she seems open to throupling, so really no problems on the love triangle front. But that's okay, because Himari is more than enough of a problem to make up for it. And frankly, so is Yu, who, despite being not like other Protag-kuns, TM is very much like every other Protag-kun in his pathological inability to take even the most obvious hints. Basically, every problem from that point forward could be solved by either one of them
Just getting it on.
just not saying lol JK after they confess their feelings for the thousandth time. That is until a vindictive social media vixen, who happens to be Rion's older sister and Himari's older brother's ex, swings by to follow
Oh, I didn't know about. Oh my god! It's getting like domestic girlfriend-esque now.
up on the very real offer to cover her very real move to Tokyo that the very real talent agency that Vixen works for is very upset about being out a very large amount of money on. You know, because she tricked them into spending it to gaslight a boy she likes. And that right there is exactly what I love about this show. The characters may act like unbelievable idiots, but their actions have very believable, predictable consequences.
Consequences. Yeah, I do. I might check this out. I feel like I'd get really frustrated and annoyed watching this, which is still pretty cool. You know, it's like if a show makes you feel something, then that's decent.
And like any good disaster documentary, you can trace that causal chain of f**k-ups all the way back to see where and why it all went wrong over and over again. It goes wrong so many times. These kids are so stupid. Which is one of the big benefits of writing characters with full, consistent internal worlds informed by a history that you've actually bothered to think out in advance, Reiji. I give boy-girl friendship 2 golden dumpsters.
Oh wow! Okay, well I might check that out.
Now, if you prefer to watch hot, popular girls and weird losers not f*** each other for no apparent reason with their tits all out all over the place, we do have an anime for that too, but
Wait.
before I scare all the hoes away, I do think that you ladies out there should know we don't just serve waifu trash in this establishment. We've got some piping hot husbandos fresh out of the
Okay.
oven, too.
Okay.
Classic Star Stars is a male idol type thing set at a really, 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 really fancy high school
That is a fancy high school.
where a mad scientist is using futuristic emotion reading hologram technology to unlock the latent DNA of classic music composers in Japanese teenagers and form the ultimate boy band.
What? Whoa.
Which is, of course, essential to Japan's entire future.
Of course.
Because this emotional vision technology,
Penguins.
emotion for short, will
Whoa.
one day completely redefine international politics. Our hero is a hot-blooded former boxer named It Doesn't Matter, You're Beethoven Now, who got punched in the head so hard he temporarily went blind, but then some doctors from the fancy school came out to do some kind of miracle surgery on him to bring his eyesight back and offered him a full-ride scholarship for mysterious reasons, which turn out to be that the miracle surgery implanted him with the Beethoven factor, and now he can sing real good.
I didn't know Beethoven could sing.
And even though all he wants to do is punch guys in the face, he slowly comes to realize that you can still punch people in the face with song.
With music.
Previously, the school also did involuntary surgery on a smarmy smart boy they call Chopin, the pretty boy Liszt. I think it's Liszt. I don't know my Baroque composers that well. And a brooding rival-type character whose name is Mozart now, whether he likes it or not. So it's lucky that he does, and they're all really into singing and stuff, and they don't particularly mind being unwilling human experiments, because it means they can rock out. An attitude that I would say is pretty based if the show's music weren't complete booty cheeks. I probably can't play any samples here, due to, you know, the whole...
Okay, so a show based around music, and the music isn't good. Okay.
whole copyright situation with the FDA. But the show's whole gimmick is basically just using classical music melodies as the lyrics of modern J-rock numbers. And some people might be into that, but those people are not me. It's the sort of thing that feels tolerable in a single, maybe, but just unbearable when you build a whole album around it, or an anime OST, as the case may be. It kind of just sounds like an English teacher trying way too hard to make Shakespeare modern and relatable. If you can look past that, though, the rest of the show isn't very good either, but...
Oh, okay.
If you want to see hot boys being idiots and doing stupid little dances every week with batshit insane sci-fi world building, you should probably just rewatch Hypnosis, Mike. Classic
okay.
Stars gets an HMV bargain bin full of Christian rock and hip-hop albums.
Samurai Sham. Oh, it says shampoo, doesn't it?
Don't worry, ladies. We got plenty more girl trash waiting for you in the fantasy and isekai section of the menu, one of which isn't even a little bit of a villainess anime. So please, please don't leave while I'm telling you about Please Put Them On Takamine-san. Or the other things that are basically hentai immediately after it. Please keep my monetization on YouTube-san follows a dorky little loser with no friends and no prospects who finds himself in the wrong place at the very right time when he accidentally catches...
Oh no, this is the... Is this the one? I'm gonna... Wait, she takes off the pants. She can reverse time. And, yeah?
is the smoking hot class president putting on a black bra in the gym equipment room. Fast forward to class, where the normally perfect president makes a small mistake on a quiz, then immediately rewind, because that is Takamine-san's stand ability. Eternal Virgin Road. By stripping off any article of underwear, she can instantly reset the clock to any point she wants and change any parts of the past that she finds inconvenient.
Wait, who comes up with this stuff, man? Who, like, what pops into someone's mind? I'm gonna write a story today. What should it be about? How about someone that can travel back in time and fix little problems? But how do they do it? They remove their underwear. Genius.
A nigh unbeatable ability that even Speedwagon would fear.
Whoa! Whoa! Medicine!
However, it has two key weaknesses.
Oh, we got JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Funko Pops coming out! Guys! JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Funko Pops!
Firstly, the underwear disappears upon use, thus limiting her to just 4 possible...
And Volume 1 of Steel Ball Run is on the way in the post. I had it pre-ordered. I am excited. JoJo's! Anyway.
5 resets per day under normal circumstances, because pasties count as underwear. Write that down, power scalers. Secondly, anyone who sees her bare areola when the power isn't active gains the ability to permanently remember prior timelines.
Right.
Meaning Shirota now knows her secret. But being a genius and all, Takamine quickly figures out how to make those problems solve each other by blackmailing Shirota into being her walking closet. Tasked with packing extra pairs of pantsu and surreptitiously slipping them on her whenever she feels like abusing her godlike powers, which is all the time. Just a...
This is so weird. It's so weird. So strange.
terrifying disregard for the integrity of the space-time continuum. Lucky for her and the entire universe, this isn't the sort of story that actually cares about time travel rules, but that isn't so lucky for us, I think, because personally, I would have really liked it if the show had any interest at all in exploring the concept outside of using it as an excuse to take Takane's pants off like 4 or 5 times an episode. For instance, it would have been infinitely more interesting if the reason she has an obligatory secret crush on Protag-kun was something to do with a prior timeline that only she remembers, instead of just him forgetting some shit like every other Protag-kun and every other ecchi romance thing.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
With a more ambitious script, this could have been like high school DxD tier, high concept, horny nonsense. But on the bright side, it is still a pretty good rom-com with entertaining enough characters. I really like their mutual childhood friend and how the show completely swerves the love triangle you think it's setting up when she's introduced. The show's writing is just kind of solid across the board. And
okay.
it helps a lot that the artwork, at least, is definitely high school DxD tier, if you know what I mean.
I know what you
Say
mean.
no more, now what I mean, nudge, nudge.
The show does pay for it by milking the ever-loving shit out of its canned time travel animation, sometimes multiple times an episode, but it makes sure that its artists have ample time to draw
There's so
every
much
ample
sense
curve
out of
of
this.
every key shot in basically every episode, and they even make it jiggle pretty good sometimes.
Nice.
Which I think is worth at least 3 flamin' hot golden dumpsters by itself.
My god, it seems like it's worth a watch. Just seems... I don't think I'd enjoy it, though. I don't know.
You really cannot take that kind of quality control for granted with anime titties these days. Case in point, Yandere Dark Elf, which looks like the work of a budding hentai artist still young enough to think it goes on the front. And when I say hentai, I mean that the entire plot of this thing is just this crazy horny dark elf moves in with a nerdy pipsqueak after following him home from his big isekai journey, and
Okay.
then lives in his house and constantly tries to f*** him. Which
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. God. Whoa.
is actually eerily similar to the plot of Machina-san is a Love Bot, in which the hottest girl in school follows a nerdy pipsqueak home after her house is exploded by some sort of bomb, so he can repair all the damage to her secret sci-fi sex bot body, and then she lives in his house and tries to f*** him all the time.
Huh,
The only
okay,
thing stopping either of these shows from being straight up porn are, respectively, a literal cock-blocking curse and the fact that Machina-chan doesn't actually know how sex works and is programmed to not be able to ask. Now, you might have noticed that one of those jokes for why they haven't f***ed yet is substantially funnier than the other one, and it happens to be on the show with a more complex and intriguing plot all around, and you better believe that quality gap extends to the titties in Machina-san, which are miles beyond Yandere Dark Elf, damn near drawn as well as Takamine's, and even jigglier. Now, on
Whoa.
the flip side, I do think that Yandere Dark Elf has maybe a little bit more emotional depth in its cast than Machina. There's a mildly interesting undercurrent of past trauma that explains why the Yandere Dark Elf is so yandere, but
Okay.
who fucking cares? You're not watching either of these for the story or characters. You're watching them to goon for 15 minutes. And if you can jork it to this, you probably need glasses. Unless you're watching this on YouTube,
I was gonna
of course,
say-
where no one's allowed to jork it to anything.
I'm
besides
not
fake
jerking it to
content
anything on this screen right now, though, thank you.
children, in which case, this is puppies, and anyone jorking it should seek professional
That's
help.
weird.
Remember
Don't
that
do that.
uncensored FDA unapproved cut is
Please don't do that.
available on Patreon, and I promise this bit is slightly funnier there. I give Machina-san 3 burning barrels of with a fat load of literally
All right. What's
Inside.
talking about? Oh my god. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then
Okay.
Yandere Dark Elf gets a big moldy an obscene
Oh my god.
just,
Jesus Christ.
just gushing all over. Some things with a Cocker Spaniel. If you're hoping to see some nicer animation, as that brings us into the fantasy and
Jesus.
isekai half of the menu, I have bad news.
What is this?
Far and away the most hyped new isekai of the season, at least
Oh yeah, everyone was really looking forward to this, and then it just.
stateside, was The Beginning
Beginning after the end, yeah.
an anime adaptation of a webtoon adaptation of a popular English web novel, which is, I believe, the first work of its kind to ever be animated in Japan. Although, animated is a generous term in this context.
そして直に魔術を見ることができたのは
Still frames. Still frames.
Needless to say, the fans have not been particularly happy. It is, in fact, one of the lowest rated anime of the entire season and year so far, and more than one person has tweeted and or commented at me on Yelp, This Is a Restaurant, saying they can't wait to see me roast at a new one literally right now. But I gotta be honest, for something I'd seen hyped up as the year's biggest disappointment, it left me a little disappointed.
思っていたよりがっかりしないな。だよね、がっかりって聞いていたのに。
For T-Bait fans hyped to see their fave finally get a shot at the big time, this was doubtless one of the worst pieces of anime garbage they had ever laid eyes on. But for me, it was Tuesday. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see what he's saying here. So there's worse stuff out there, right?
This animation's pretty bad. And sure, that dragon looks kind of stupid and janky, I guess. But have you seen the dragon in The Banished Former Hero Lives As He Pleases? I mean, okay, yeah, these fights only give the vaguest suggestion of action, but at least there's something to suggest.
Paralyze. Poison. Paralyze. Paralyze.
Yeah.
Poison. 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 Poison.
Plus, the story's still pretty good for what it is, even when it's presented this middly. It has a really neat power system and some very interesting ideas, like how Protag-kun was isekai'd from some sort of shonen battle world instead of boring old Earth, and his
Yeah, I watched the first episode. I wish we knew more about where it came from.
power system knowledge is partly transferable, and the plot moves through those ideas at a nice, snappy pace while it's rushing him up its power curve and taking him from 0 years old to elf life as fast as humanly possible. The overarching theme of the story is clearly, I really liked Mushoku Tensei, but hey, there's a lot of anime I could say that about, and this one is definitely almost in the top 50% of them. So I'm sorry to disappoint everyone who was disappointed and wanted to see me rail against this crime against their fave, but I just can't find it in me to get that mad about this anime compared
enough.
to all the other shitty isekai I've seen in my life. I listened
Yeah,
to
because I watched the first episode and I just kind of thought, it's alright. But then again, I'm not a huge fan of the original stuff, so I can't put myself in the space where people are at, where they are absolutely hating on it.
to the original audiobook, and if I'm being honest, it's written about as well as this is animated. At least early on, I do hear that it gets a lot better, but I didn't find out for myself because I got bored like 4 hours in and just started rereading Dungeon Crawler Carl instead. And to be perfectly straight with you, my main takeaway from this whole debacle is just I'm glad we have a novel to webtoon to anime pipeline now, so that one day, after the Netflix Cowboy Bebop guy's done ruining his version of it, Studio Trigger or Science Saru or something might maybe snap up the rights to Dungeon Crawler Carl. And you know, frankly, even if the Fuzzy Door version does turn out good and that guy doesn't ruin it, I would still very much like to see a Dungeon Crawler Carl anime. Like, someone out there needs to make Abel Gongora aware of Princess Donut. I have seen what he has done and the people at Science Saru have done with Turbo Granny, and they just need to, once they know about Princess Donut, they will get it. It will be peak. I need that anime. What was I talking about again? Right, T-Bait. 2 wastebaskets full of plain crackers, which are official Mushoku Tensei collab crackers, but the box got thrown in a different garbage can somewhere else, so I don't gotta pay for new art.
What is this?
Speaking of wasted potential, the Brilliant Healer's new life in the shadows sounds like a really cool idea for a story. An illegal back alley healer using unlicensed, self-taught cure spells to help the downtrodden citizens of a fantasy slum.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Cool.
Please go on.
Yeah.
I would love to learn more about what kind of world would drive a man to do that and what kind of man he would have to be. You have my attention, Mr. Anime Sir. Now, what are you going to do with it?
負けトカゲかなんか言ってる。
ワンちゃん何か言ったかい？我も混ぜろ。混ざるな。
喧嘩するとゼノスが怒るよ。
So he has a harem of animal-themed women. Oh, God.
Show me a bunch of random waifus fighting over the guy's before we've even met him for like 10 straight minutes while he's out doing an errand, you say. Cool.
Alright.
Cool. And how did you say he came to be the proprietor of this illegal healing clinic again? Kicked out of a hero's party because they underrated his elite skills, you say. And in your estimation, how elite would those skills be? Invincible shield magic and the power to instantly regenerate limbs. Don't say. And his main love interest is... Ah, yes, never mind. I see it right here. It's the very young girl that he owns as property.
Oh my God.
Okay. Does the harem at least get introduced organically over the course of a few stories? Oh, okay. So they all just kind of show up
exist.
at his door pretty much at the same time. Okay. Yeah. Okay. 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 At least the specific reason that this overpowered, underrated adventurer's party kicks him out is a little bit interesting from a world-building angle. They don't just think he's useless. Their party is getting famous now, and they really don't want some pavo slum kid getting cooties all over him when they're about to be hobnobbing with the nobility. So that's like some class struggle there. The story has a theme, maybe.
My goodness.
Also, 3 of the harem girls are gang leaders representing the different fantasy races in the slums. That's a really cool idea they don't do much with.
Okay, alright. Oh, don't do much with... Oh.
I mean, he solves the gang war by episode 3 with basically a sit-in at the rec center. It's a complete non-issue. Or so it seems until the magic FBI catches wind.
No, not the magic FBI. The MFBI.
Lower classes, putting aside their differences, and sends an undercover knight in to investigate. You know, make sure there ain't no demi-human Fred Hamptons walking around without magic bullets in them. And, of course, she accidentally wanders into his house and almost instantly falls in love with him before realizing he's her mark. The kind of show you think this is? I thought we learned our lesson about having expectations for
God damn it. This had so much promise.
things. She does shoot him first, though, on suspicion of an unrelated crime. These bitches do be a bit crazy, and hot enough to get away with it, which easily elevates this harem anime with extra steps above the Shionji family slop tier to at least the level of a lesser Tenchi Muyo spinoff, which is about as good as you're gonna get from one of these fucking things. I mean, good harem, likable protag, decent sense of humor, minimal school shooter vibes towards the party that kicked out the underrated.
Don't even look like they were walking away.
Why is that so hard? Maybe it's not. We actually got 2 of them this season. And the other one has one of the most creative interpretations of the obliviously OP protag trope I've seen to date. In a stunning twist, Kurt, the hero of Unaware Atelier Master, is actually as useless as the party that kicked him out thought he was.
Dun dun dun.
At least when it comes to combat specifically.
わかりました。
Oh my God. Ah.
Every other skill, however, is triple S rank, meaning he can clean a whole kitchen in the space of a tea break with time left over to cook porridge so tasty it cures magic cancer.
Oh.
Build a structurally stable tunnel all the way through a mountain in an afternoon and find a couple crates of mithril along the way, plus just only a little bit of
Is it mithril or is it aluminium or aluminum as you call it? Sorry, Goblin Slayer related abridgment joke.
orichalcum. He's a little ashamed of how little legendary orichalcum he managed to dig up. He can also craft a magic sword on par with Aizen's fucking Bankai as
Cool.
a fun little hobby project on the side. And he can harvest
Wait,
resources
how do you
from
know what
monsters
Aizen's Bankai is? We haven't seen that.
that aren't even dead yet.
探検一月でバラバラに採掘とか言って
Pretty much the second he stops wasting his time as a glorified pack mule for a pack of delinquents, the kingdom sees a statistically significant bump in its GDP. And so the powers that be swiftly set to work elevating Kurt to a political station where his powers can do the most good for the nation. An atelier master. Only problem is, he has such absurdly low self-esteem, he literally would not believe them if they told him he was in charge of his own politically autonomous magic item factory, which he built by himself with his own bare hands in 3 days, as well as the entire town around it. So, they just don't tell him. He thinks he's the chore boy. Also, he lives with a princess who really wants to f*** him, but I feel like that goes without saying. For the most part, though, Unaware Atelier Master's surprisingly good at swerving.
Seems alright, this.
Tropes.
This actually seems pretty interesting. I am intrigued.
Every one of these fucking things. If he's not out for revenge on them, the second arc is inevitably about underrated protag Kun's old party realizing how much they need him and crawling back to him +5 Iron Helm in hand to beg him to party up again and or bully him into it depending on the story. And then they just treat him like shit again and he's like, I'm better off without you. And that's it. Here, those assholes never even get the chance. Because the party leader became so addicted to Kurt's godly cooking, he gets arrested for violently dine and dashing out of a 5-star restaurant that served him, quote, pig slop. Meanwhile, the party nun gets roped into a plot to assassinate the princess, and it turns out the party thief was some kind of undercover spook all along, apparently sent in to keep tabs on Kurt himself. That is a shocking amount of political intrigue and character depth for a show where the hero accidentally defeats a demon lord with a mop whilst hot on the trail of a nefarious local graffiti bandit.
Wow.
I think I might love this anime. So I'm gonna give it 4 dumpsters full of Gary Stupid.
That seems like a really good, interesting watch.
Self-insert fanfics and pages of a lengthy manifesto, which are on fire because he decided not to do it after all. Brilliant Healer only gets 2, but the manifesto is a little more political there, and so are the fanfics, and it's the FBI burning them because they got him. Honestly, the lineup of these fucking things this spring is a lot better than I expected.
The magical
and
FBI.
You ladies don't even have to feel left out, because they're making these fucking things for you now, too. And you got a pretty good one of them this spring. Although, if the Atelier Master being that unaware was hard for you to believe, the Too Perfect Saint, tossed aside by my fiance and sold to another kingdom, is gonna have your disbelief hanging from the Hyatt Regency skywalk. If you don't get that joke, watch literally any architecture YouTuber. They all talk about it eventually. The problem, in short, is the Too Perfect Saint is, well, too perfect. To the point that her shitty parents and shitty fiance, the shitty crown prince, being so eager to get rid of her, just straight up does not make a lick of sense. Philia's not just the unsung hero of one adventuring party, she is the linchpin of their kingdom's whole economy and military. She builds monster warding barriers 10 times as good and 10 times as fast as the next magical chosen girl. She invents miraculous new medicines on a daily basis just for funsies. She literally controls the weather, and her only flaw is she doesn't smile enough. Look, if you just tell me he doesn't want to marry her, he's more into her sister. That I can believe. Mary Sue's give a lot of guys the ick. It is completely understandable. But, like, she's the only reason his country has agriculture at all? And we find this out from exposition dumping peasants. It is definitionally common knowledge within the setting. I know the point is to make Filia's abusive family look like the stupidest jerks to ever live,
Okay.
so we hate them. But when you write a guy this debilitatingly moronic, I kind of just end up feeling sorry for him. I mean, all that royal inbreeding clearly hit this boy like a freight train if he's out here selling the lady who makes the crops grow to a rival country.
Yeah, that is so moronic. That is so stupid. Where is the sense in that? Where's the sense in that?
Poor dumb fella never stood a chance. Of course, once Filia arrives in the other country, she gets to enjoy the female escapist fantasy equivalent of chilling in a hot spring with the 5 smoking hot elves and cat girls who've independently decided they want to live with you in the last 3 months. Chilling in a rustic European manner with a smoking hot prince who's keen to remind you that you've been working real hard lately and deserve a me day, which you can spend talking saucy romance novels with your personal defense maid / bestie. Not to be confused with your ninja maid, who's so good you didn't even notice her for the first few episodes.
Damn, that's some damn good ninja maid.
ここにずっとフィリア様のおそばにいたんですよ。いつからですか？こちらに来られた初日からですね。
Nice.
Also, she has this hot, in a refined old man sort of way, swordsman butler guy at her beck and call.
Cool.
Just living that classic fantasy princess life her stupid parents and stupid fiance were too stupid to give her.
They
And
were
she
stupid.
only had to be in kind of a little bit of a villainess anime to get it. Just the obligatory fiance betrayal scene, really. Shoujo nature might finally be healing. In fact, in a remarkable act of conservation, we've actually seen this very season an unassuming girl with low self-esteem and insanely OP
Whoa.
magic return to her natural habitat inside a fancy magic school surrounded by at least half a dozen handsome men without a single invasive reincarnated villainess in sight. The Gorilla God's go-to girl takes
Whoa.
us to a fun, regular, non-isekai, non-video game fantasy world
What?
where everyone gains the
What? Not video game, not isekai. What's happening?
magical blessing of a random animal totem when they come of age. As you might have guessed from the title, Sophia Riller hit the magic gotcha jackpot as the once-in-a-generation chosen one of the Gorilla God, one of the 2 mightiest warriors in all of the animal pantheon, which kinda sucks for her, because the only thing she hates more than conflict is attention. On the bright side, the Order of Royal Knights that she's forced to join because of her powers is, of course, full of very handsome men who, of course, all go to her school, and, of course, they all start hanging out with her, which, of course, causes all of their fangirls to get insanely jealous and try to bully Sophia, which, of course, only makes the boys fawn over her more, like, oh, how dare those girls make you sad, and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
You know how reverse harems work. Though it is worth noting this is more of a Kirito-type harem, where the main love interest confesses very early on, and everyone else is kind of just stuck in the friend zone forever. Speaking of Kiritos, there's this one episode where a staff sergeant demands that Sophia cut her bangs, even though her commanding officer, who's also her main love interest, of course, gets 0 flack for the gosh dang Kirito middle bang he's got hanging halfway to the bottom of his nose. What the fuck, man? Double standard much? I thought this was an escapist fantasy. What's with all the institutional sexism up in here? I wish I had more to say about the Knights and the action that they get involved in, but there isn't much, really. Sophia does stop some terrorists from blowing up the school dance.
Cool.
At one point,
All right.
but
Yeah.
mostly as a byproduct of sitting in a corner feeling sorry for herself. Despite the power system, this is very much a typical shoujo romance thing with fantasy stuff tacked on, and we don't get nearly enough typical shoujo romance these days, so I am perfectly fine with that. In fact, it's probably for the best. The power system's kind of janky anyway. I give Two Perfect Saint two fancy wicker trash baskets full of discarded doilies, chipped teacups, and suspiciously stained husbando body pillows, while Gorilla God gets 3.
3,
We've
okay.
saved the hottest trash for last tonight, though, and I gotta tell.
Oh, this looks awful straight away. What is this? This is... I can tell straight away from just the character being that he was... This is an isekai, and he's been reincarnated. He was a villain at one point, or something like that, and now he's back as a kid, and yeah.
Tell ya, you have never seen anything quite like I'm the evil lord of an intergalactic empire. The isekai tale
Right, oh my god,
is
yes.
trying to take over the entire
It's just, you just can see it straight away, the design on the character and everything.
known universe with the help of his hyper-intelligent custom robot sex maid after he was, and I really cannot emphasize this particular point enough, literally cucked to death. Just so we're clear, that was not the brain damage. I definitely did not say trucked to death just now. And this definitely is not your typical isekai. That much is clear from one glance at its setting, which casts aside your typical vaguely
Ooh, it looks very Tekkaman Blade-esque.
Tolkien-esque Dungeons and Dragon Questy scenario for something more akin to Frank Herbert's Dune, but with giant robots. A vast interstellar empire divvied up into planetary baronies and ruled over by the products of millennia of nepotism. Liam Sarah Banfield might just be the youngest such lord in the entire empire, having inherited his parents' estate along with the aforementioned sexbot at the
Oh, God.
tender age of
No,
5.
stop
Also,
it.
he inherited all of their mountains and mountains of debt while they ran off to vacation in space Cancun. So, yeah, it's not quite the fresh start that his isekai travel guide promised him, and that's no accident. The guide isn't really the Eris-style, friendly, helpful god of reincarnation that he pretends to be, but something decidedly more malignant. Like Aqua. And like Aqua, this eldritch entity that
I like his
feeds on human
design.
misery is incredibly entertaining, stealing every scene he's in. It was he, in fact, who orchestrated Liam's whole fatal incockening to begin with,
Cooking. Jesus.
and this so-called second chance is really just prep work for a delicious second serving of Liam's despair. But while the guide is distracted, snacking on that feeling when all your whipped cream sticks to the top of your Starbucks cup and the agony of failing a no-hit challenge run on the very last level, not to mention his favorite food, the scenery,
いけません早くネガティブを負の感情を補給しなければなんだよあいつおかしいよ
Liam and the Sexbot, mostly the Sexbot, managed to turn the entire solar system's economy around with very sensible reforms. Almost makes you wonder why every planet isn't run by robots, but then you remember this is a Dune-type universe. They didn't take their Butlerian jihad quite that far. They do still have computers, but only for f***ing. If you do anything besides f*** your computer, it voids the warranty, and people look on it very harshly. So that's why no other system has yet tapped into the Sexbot advantage. It's not just the economy where they have
Sex bot advantage. Jesus.
an edge, though. Liam, being a reincarnated otaku and all, is of course drawn to the setting's giant fighting robots, and before long he has his family's antique combat mech refurbished into an unrivaled weapon, disabling every assist feature from target lock to the auto balancers, so the machine only responds directly and perfectly to its pilot's every instinct and impulse. Perhaps a little too perfectly. And that responsiveness is important.
Oh, imagine watching this robot and then it's just doing fondling hand things. Oh, Oh, Jesus Christ. How stupid. Oh, I love it.
Because Liam has also spent his youth mastering the blade, honing
Ah.
both his reflexes and his magical senses, until he can emulate his master's devastating flash cut attack, slicing through distant targets without even touching them. Much to the surprise of that master, who was pretty sure he just pulled a party trick to scam Liam out of free room and board, and had no idea that was even physically possible. So yeah, this
Oh, that's actually quite cool. Wow.
show just has a ton of fun with it. Though it does also go to some dark places, especially in the season's B-plot, which follows the Princess Knight of a destroyed planet as the pirates who killed her people enslave her for their own sick pleasure. And
Whoa.
hearing that, you're probably expecting some typical anime bullshit, but Captain Goes isn't just any isekai pervert. He's a Cronenbervert, someone who gets off on Cronenberging beautiful women against their will.
Oh, this is a really dark B plot. I don't like it. I want it to be fun.
Which is both way scarier than boring old SAO bad guy stuff and more interesting from a lore perspective, while also being at least slightly less exploitative. Crazy what a light novel writer can do when they actually try just a little bit.
Huh.
I do wish that effort was matched a little better by the anime adaptation, which, as you might have noticed from all these clips, is a bit pants. But the story and setting are fresh enough, and the guide is such a fun villain, I'm willing to look past that and give the evil lord of an intergalactic empire 4 golden dumpsters.
Okay, yeah,
That
seems
brings
good.
us to the end of our menu, and I do hope you found something to your taste this evening, because if you don't eat something within an hour of being unfrozen, you're gonna...
Oh no.
Oh, there you go. Taro!
Chainsaw.
No, not the chainsaw. Tabemono. Tabemono. What do they teach you in the Yakuza?
Some interesting ones in there that I do think I need to go back and possibly check out. That one seems good. Yeah, some interestingly trashy, but some also really bad sounding ones as well. But yeah, that was very entertaining. I want to check out the summer anime situation is crazy. That's probably going over how many sequels we've got, because it doesn't normally go over sequels in the ones to watch. So I'll do the summer anime is crazy situation, and then after that we'll do the ones to watch. It feels good to be back. This is nice doing these videos, and I've also got shorts. Not the clothes. I usually wear jeans, but I am uploading like one of these a day and a YouTube short a day of like either random abridgments that I've reacted to in the past in parts, or Red vs. Blue season 1 is there. I think I've put that on a playlist as well, and I'm editing older videos that you guys maybe probably never saw back in the day before I did these reactions, and just, you know, so there's lots of stuff I'm experimenting with, and then next year we start doing actual comedy stuff, sketches, songs, things, you know, once I'm fully settled in here. But yeah, thanks very much for watching.